What's going on, friends? Aaron back again from Aaron's Anxiety, your personal guide through anxiety. Today we have a very special guest, my lovely wife and partner, Samantha Ann, the lovely Sammy. And we're here in fabulous Florida. And I was going to make a video because I want to keep you guys up to date on what's going on with me and all that other fun stuff. And I figured what a great time, because I do my videos in the car and I'm stuck in the car right now, to have Samantha come with me, and then we can kind of riff off of each other and talk about anxiety. And so we can get a perspective of what Samantha is thinking and a perspective of what I think. So with that being said, Samantha, do you want to tell them anything about yourself before we get going?
I'm a new mom. I'm 25.
25. Stone Cold Fox. Don't forget Stone Cold Fox.
And I recently started developing anxiety, and I think it's because I'm a new mom.
I think it's because you're a new mom.
I think it's because I worry about everything, and I don't want anything to happen to our baby because he's the best thing that's ever happened, besides Aaron, of course. And so I just worry constantly.
It makes sense. But it's being a parent. It's apparent that being a parent is stressful.
Very.
They deal with my dad jokes. They can't say no. Anyways, so talking about anxiety. So first, let's touch a couple of different bases just to kind of give a perspective of your anxiety versus my anxiety. Somebody who has had depersonalization, derealization, high crazy amounts of intense anxiety, overwhelming thoughts, and someone who is what we call you normies. So yeah. Something you want to say?
I was just going to say, I don't think my anxiety is anywhere near as bad as yours.
No, but that is important to note, though, because a lot of times people with high anxiety, we're constantly dealing with people telling us about how, oh, really, I have high anxiety too. That's just something we deal with. And so most of us, anxiety people, we overthink everything, so we don't really tell people.
Yeah.
We kind of just keep it to ourselves, but in our heads we're like, oh my God, if you only knew.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one thing that I've always overthought. I'm an overthinker too. I always overthink everything, and I've always had my whole life, but yeah. I wouldn't say that made me have anxiety.
Yeah. But you're developing more anxiety as an adult. So as we go through our lives, they say that every 5 years, mentally you become a new person than what you were 5 years prior. So every 5 years you have drastic changes in your life. And within 5 years, we've been from dating to getting married to having a baby, being homeowners. There's been so much pivotal stuff happening in these last 5 years. So I can definitely understand why your anxiety would be up, because now we have more responsibility. So that being said, let's start off small, and let's say, this vacation, for instance. So what have been your anxieties for this vacation? We've been in Florida for 10 days. We're leaving on Tuesday, back to Indiana. And so that being said, we've been here for 10 days. We've done all the parks, done all the fun stuff. What has been your top three? We're going to go three. Top three major anxieties that have been keeping your elevation of your blood pumping and all that fun stuff.
The traveling, the Florida drivers here are insane, and I can't control what they're doing, and so that gives me anxiety that I can't control how they drive, and they're crazy, and my baby's in the back seat, and it just freaks me out. Yeah, you can't predict what these crazy people are gonna do.
Yeah,
and that scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And then
they're bold drivers.
And then the parks, there's just so many people, crowds.
That's two.
Yeah, the crowds.
Also being surrounded by a lot of people.
Yeah. It makes me really anxious.
Yeah, and those people are vicious too. Oh my God, they'll cut you off. They'll give you crappy looks. It's supposed to be the happiest place in the world, but so many people are not happy.
I asked somebody to take a photo of our family, and she said no. Yeah. This is why I don't talk to people.
We had a big family. Sam goes, "Excuse me, ma'am, can you take a photo of our family?" No, and just walked away. Wow.
That's why I don't like people.
So that happened.
And then I would say the last thing is bugs. the bugs that are here. I know.
Bugs. Like insects? Bugs?
Yeah, but that's also something that, like, I've been growing this, like, anxiety of bugs at home, too. So that's not just, like, a traveling thing. I've never been afraid of bugs. I was a tomboy growing up, and so I played in dirt. I fished, put bugs on my hook, you know, so I've never been afraid of bugs, and now, like, I see bugs, and I just freak out, and I'm like, that bug's gonna be on my baby, and it's gonna somehow bite my baby, or it's gonna poop on my, I don't know, like,
It's gonna poop on the baby.
It just freaks me
Bug
out.
poop. Okay, so a lot of the people that watch these videos, because they're here, they're constantly learning about things about anxiety, not from me, well, I hope from me, but also from a lot of other places. So anxiety people tend to be more forward-thinking people. So I can tell you right now that many of my viewers right now are thinking, she's not afraid of bugs. She's afraid of something else. There's our baby in the bag. Henry's here. She's not afraid of the bugs. She's afraid of something else, and it's coming out through her newfound fear of insects. So that one we'll be working on. But so for somebody who has anxiety, high anxiety, who has experience, you're gonna hear him. He's a talker.
Just like his dad.
Yeah. Who's experienced depersonalization, things like that. My top 3 things. Okay, so what happens when you say that your anxiety, it's giving you anxiety? What happens physically to your body?
My chest hurts really bad.
Your chest hurts? Chest hurts.
It's like my breathing.
Shortness of breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels labored.
I get dizzy, kind of. Is that weird? And sometimes I feel like I need to throw up.
You're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the baby choir. You're like, it's horrible. Yeah, so, okay, so things like that. Okay, so my top 3 would have been, even though I fly all the time, every time I get on a flight, it's like getting on a roller coaster. I get a lot of high anxiety, but I know it's going to be fun. That being said, I hate roller coasters, but I do enjoy flying. We might have to fix that.
Yeah, I'll check on them.
Want me to hold them?
Yeah.
All right, you go for it. We're staying here because they know I don't cut. I can pause it. We're not going to pause it. All right, so when mine was... Woo! So mine was the flight, money, monetarily making sure we had enough and that we were going to have enough for 10 days in a place that's far, far from home. And actually the third one I would say would probably be getting back to home, because I have stuff that I have to do once I get home, and that brings a lot of anxiety. And I know this is more than 3, but the fear of freaking out while away from home. And a lot of these people are going to really understand what I'm talking about. But how my body processes these same fears and anxieties are, 1, I'll get the heartbeats. Those are all familiar to all of us. The shortness of breath. You'll just randomly be sitting there and all of a sudden you'll think, man, it's just kind of hard to breathe right now. I feel labored. But where people who have experienced depersonalization and those crazy higher levels of anxiety, we start to suffer mentally, and we start to feel distant. Mentally, we start to just feel distant or absent from what's going on around us. I don't think that I've had a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety on this trip. It's been a lot of fun, and I wouldn't regret it, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. But there's been a lot of weighing stress, and so there has been a couple times during this trip, and I've told you about it, that I have felt a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I felt distant, almost like I was going back into depersonalization. I don't think I got quite back into depersonalization. I just felt like I was just kind of like just touching it, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
just a lot.
It's just a lot. So, and that's the difference between someone with high anxiety. And now, if it was me a year and a half ago,
we wouldn't even be on this trip.
No way I would have walked out on this trip. Like, there's no way I would have went on this trip. So that is great for people that are going through the struggle, knowing that, hey, it gets better. I always tell you guys, anxiety is not forever. You're going to get through it. You just got to give it time. And I'm not saying that I'm like the bellwether and I'm like perfect, because as you guys know from my video, thanks, love yourself. As you guys know from my videos, I'll tell you guys if I have a bad day or if things aren't going my way or something's going wrong mentally. I think 2 videos ago I told you guys I was having some anxiety problems, but the difference is, I know, buddy, I fixed my anxiety though. Yeah, no, I love you too. The difference is I'm not where I was in the fact that I can handle myself. When I do feel like I'm getting close to depersonalization feelings, they're not as strong and they're definitely manageable. I can go throughout my day until I either get to the next day or until I get to a next couple hours and everything levels out and feels normal again. So that is what to expect at this point. So I'm not saying it's 100% I'm clear, but life is so much better. Life is fantastic for me. So moving on. What were some of the other things I wanted to ask? Oh, being a parent. Being a parent that we're parents. So, what is your biggest fear as being a new parent?
That Henry's gonna die. That's my fear. I freak out about this every day. Like, that is something, like I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I just don't want him to die. Like,
yeah.
So we had a miscarriage before we had Henry, and I think that is like another reason why I don't want anything to happen to him, because I love him so much. And so every day I'm like, please don't let anything happen to Henry. Like, I don't believe in God, but I'm like, if there is a God, please don't let anything happen to Henry. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's a common fear. I feel like that's a good, like, anxiety. That's a common anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a guy that's got a dog kennel on top of his car. I don't know if there's anything in it, but it seems very scary and sketchy. Can you guys see that in the background? That looks sketchy. I hope there's not an animal there. But anyways, yeah, so I think that's a natural fear. Oh, we're gonna look.
There's definitely something in there. There's definitely something
Is there
in
an
there.
animal in there? Yeah, but is it an animal?
Something in there.
I don't think it's an animal though. Anyways, so that's definitely a fear that's natural for people who are new parents. Let me take that left. So I don't think you're outside the boat on that one. But that being said, as a parent with somebody with anxiety, my fear is always that I'm going to freak out. See, I'm not worried. Like, of course, you're always going to worry that something's going to happen to your baby. That's just a constant fear. But that's a generalized anxiety fear. But the other fears that I have are, what if I freak out while I'm with my baby, or when my baby needs me? You know, what if something like that happens? What if I'm in a situation where he needs me for something and I can't handle it and I freak out? But here's the thing: I know that I'm not going to do that. And that's where it becomes obsessive, and it becomes too far, and that's where we live. So we have to be the responsible ones to say, okay, it's time to back down. Always be afraid that something could happen to your wee one, because it very well can, and if you're not paying attention, that's when bad things happen. So, but you also have to let kids be kids, as long as it's in a safe environment. So, but yeah, what else did we want to talk about? Anything else?
How I deal with your anxiety.
Oh,
how
yeah.
It affected me.
Yeah, that was a good one. So, okay, go ahead. I'll let you take the reins, girl.
Well,
Ride!
Well, when you're having like your major like depersonalization and all that, was it was really rough for me, because, like, you know, you have your husband or your spouse, your significant other, and you can just like vent to them when you come home. Well, I felt like I didn't have anybody to vent to, because I didn't want to give him more anxiety and like freak him out even more. And then when he got on Zoloft, it helped for a while, but then it like helped too much until where he was like a wall. Like, it was like talking to a wall. There's no emotion.
It's a total zombie.
Yeah, and so then that sucked. And then he got off of Zoloft, and then he was having like zaps, and so he was better, and he was like learning how to cope without medicine, but it was still rough. And then him getting on Lexapro has gotten, he's like the Aaron that I started dating. Yeah, so it's
Just hairier.
a lot hairier.
What's that?
So it definitely was rough when you were having your depersonalization, but I was trying my best to.
Hold it together for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could tell, even when you're in depersonalization, you have a lot of like stirring thoughts, and your brain kind of goes crazy. Like it's just like on a loop. But even like you're still like experiencing the outside world. It just seems like it's in the distance. You know what I mean? And so I was always wondering if you thought I was going crazy, and that you were like, I was wondering if you were trying to figure out what to do with me. You know what I mean? Like, does she think I'm crazy? Is she like
I never
calling
thought you
doctors?
were.
Is she doing extra work?
No,
to
I
figure
never
out if
thought.
I've gone crazy.
No, I never thought you were crazy.
Well,
I
that's
just
good.
thought you were going through something that I couldn't understand.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was. Thankfully, it wasn't a forever thing, but yeah, and I appreciate that a lot. You have no idea. Your strength has helped me talk to these people and give them good tips on what to do and how to tell their loved ones. I have a video on here, things to tell your loved ones that are dealing with somebody going through depersonalization as we are, or high anxiety, same difference. Those are all connected. So, but yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the video. Anyways, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Appreciate you guys watching the videos. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We have a little fuss butt baby to take care of back here. Until the next time, guys, see you in the next video.